Have you ever asked yourself a question of why is it so damn hard to change a part of myself or a part of my life? Yet at the same time, change is literally the only thing in life that we can guarantee. Because life is ever moving, life is ever evolving, seasons change, our moods change. You are literally not the same person you were 6 months ago. So why is it that when we want to make positive change, it's so challenging? Well, Dr. Joe Dispenza has a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And as a coach who helps people reinvent themselves, this is a book that I absolutely love. And I wanted to share with you today the 7 key steps within that book. And maybe you have read it, maybe you haven't. If you haven't, I definitely recommend it. So Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, focuses on the concepts of meditation and doing processes within the meditation in order to make change in your life. So these steps are really based around that. So it's said in 7 steps over 4 weeks. Now, week 1 just focuses on step 1, which is the induction phase. And this is simply a way to get you used to the meditation process, because in day-to-day life, we are so focused on living with our senses, our sight, our smell, our taste, our touch. And obviously that helps us survive. You know, if we didn't have those things from a survival perspective, it'd be very challenging. We could just walk out in front of traffic. We might not see it. We might not hear it. And it could cause disastrous consequences. So those things are important. But the thing is, we live on autopilot. So we look at what's going on in the world. We have the same thoughts of the day before, and we get stuck in these patterns and these cycles from things that have happened in our life. And so ultimately, we're living on autopilot. So the whole concept of breaking the habit of being yourself is to change who you are, change your personality, and to create a new identity so that the things that you want in your life are in alignment with who you see yourself as truly being. Now, week 1, step 1 is the induction phase, and this is the induction of the meditation. It's really just to introduce you to the concepts and Dr. Joe Dispenza's teachings of the meditation. He has some very unique ways of doing things. He's got lots of videos on YouTube that I recommend checking out if you want to try out some of the meditations. But really, week 1 is just focusing on that, bringing your attention to the meditation, disconnecting from the outside world, from your daily thoughts, from the daily habits, and becoming familiar with the practice of the meditation. Week 2 focuses on step 2, 3, and 4. Step 2 is recognizing. And this is one of the first pieces to change. And I often share this with my clients is it's really about the awareness. This is taking an honest look at where you're currently at. So you can kind of think of it as a mini life review and ask yourself questions such as, how do others perceive me? What type of person have I been? How do I feel day to day? Really ask yourself lots of questions to try and gain clarity in the truth for where you're currently at. And it's also very important here to get specific on the area or the part of your life that you would like to change, because it's easier to focus on one thing at a time. Now, many people have no clue of the path they're on, what they're doing, what they even like. And so I have something that can help you with this. I have a core values worksheet that will enable you to focus and find out what is truly important to you. When you go through this process, you'll actually be able to find what is the thing that I need to change the most? What's in alignment with who I am and what I want in my life? I'll leave a link below this video where you can get that. It's completely free and it will help you get some clarity on what it is you actually want in your life. Now, step 3 is about admitting and declaring. And this is simply taking an honest acceptance of where you are, what's happened. You've had the awareness phase now. You've reflected. You know what the truth is. And it's about being honest with yourself. It's about looking at your life, looking at the things you struggle with, and just not lying about it, just being brutally honest. Where are you at? What do you need to change? How have you been? How have you been showing up in your life? And you can think of specific areas. If you use the values exercise to gain clarity on what's important to you, that might be a good starting point. You can look at each area of life, such as your health and fitness. How do you feel about that? What are the specific things within that maybe you want to change? Maybe it's to do with your finances or your relationships or some aspect of your business or whatever it might be. Get really clear on how you have actually been showing up and the things that are triggering you or that are bothering you that you would like to change. Now, all of the steps that we're going over here is through the meditation process. And then each week, each step, you add a new section to the meditation. And if you get the book, you'll be able to go through all the details of how you can specifically do that. But I actually just want to share that you can also go through some of this stuff with a journal to sit down, take some time, reflect, disconnect from the outside world, maybe do a short meditation and just gain some clarity on some of these things before you actually go into the meditation. And then when you go into the meditations, you'll have more clarity around what you actually want. So step 4 is surrendering. Now we know the truth of where you're at. You've been honest, you've written it down, you've affirmed it, you've made the statements, and it's about surrendering and letting go to the universe, to a higher power, whatever you want to believe in. But it's about trusting in the process. It's about You've let your desires go out there. You've shared what you don't want anymore, and you're willing to let it go. You're not going to be trying to control everything every day or looking, why is this thing not changed yet? It's about trusting in the process and being able to let go. Now, in the process of the meditation for this part, you could say something like, universal mind within me, I release my fears and insecurities to you. I have mismanaged my inner thoughts and actions for long enough now. I allow you to intervene and provide a greater life that is just right for me. This is part of the meditation process where you're setting the intention of your letting go. This is just a way that's going to free up so much energy in your life because you're letting go. You're not trying to change every single detail and you're trusting in the process. So moving on to week 3 now on step 5, which is observing and reminding. So here is when we're going throughout our day. We're back in the normal world. We're living our life and we are bringing new attention. We're bringing new awareness to the things that we've identified previously about the things we want to change. And we're simply observing. We're seeing those thought patterns. We're seeing those tendencies, those habits that we're trying to change. And we're just bringing that awareness to the situation. Now, this can seem really challenging at first because our habits and our conditioning takes over a lot. Our unconscious mind is running the show. Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I think some other people say it's around 95% of the day, which leaves us with 5% of our conscious mind. So this is really going to take some work initially to focus on those things. You have to bring the awareness to it so that we can make the changes. A simple way you can look at this is that internal negative voice that you have. So an observation might be, for example, if you're going to the gym and you have that thought in the morning, it's like, oh, you know what, I'm feeling a bit tired today. I feel like maybe if I go tomorrow, I'll have more energy, so I'll get a better workout. And your mind is trying to convince you not to do it. It's a limiting thought. And so you want to observe whatever they are in your life. Maybe it's something to do with food and your eating habits. Maybe it's something to do with your finances. But you'll notice those limiting states of mind, those thoughts, because they'll be present. If you've done some of this work properly, you'll really identify what they are. And that gives you an opportunity to make the change in the moment. But the first step is bringing that awareness to it. And then step 6 is redirecting. So as I said, a lot of this process is done within the meditation itself. And this step particularly is about visualization. And so what you can do, and this is actually very similar to a lot of other self-improvement work out there, such as Maxwell Maltz's psycho-cybernetics and the powers of visualization. But if you can picture in your mind's eye a particular scene from your day or how you anticipate the next day going, and you can spot that moment, you know the trigger or the thing that comes up when you make that decision to do the behavior that you want to change. And you have a moment in that visualization to say, change, and you want to change it. You don't want to take that action. What could be an alternative action that you could take? Like I said, initially, because it's going to be untrained, the muscles are going to be weak and it's going to be challenging to do that. But once you have the awareness, it's then about how can I consciously use the 5% of my conscious mind to make the changes I want. Because I'm sure you know there are those moments in life where it's just a split second and you make that decision and then maybe it's an hour later or however long after and you're like, oh, I made the wrong decision, or you just reacted to the unconscious pattern. And so part of this bringing the awareness to it is being able to give yourself that little bit of power you need to say you're ready to make the change. And when you do this repeatedly, you then start to identify as the new person. You start to tell yourself, oh, I am this person and I'm showing proof and evidence now. And so over time, when you develop that muscle and you strengthen it, you will start to see more positive changes. Side note here that's very relevant. Another great way to make change in your life that is really powerful is audio affirmations, and particularly making your own audio affirmations. If you don't know how to do this and you don't know where to start, I've actually created a free tutorial that will show you the step-by-step way that you can make your own audio affirmations. And the cool thing is, once it's done, it's done. You can just listen to it on repeat. You can listen in the morning when you wake up, before you go to bed at night, and it's going to start to shift your subconscious mind, shift the programming, and help you make the changes a little bit easier. And then week 4 and step 7 is creating and rehearsing. And this is a really cool one that you can do. You can actually look at people in your life that you admire. Maybe they're celebrities, maybe they're other people. What are the specific personality traits? And again, this is very similar to Maxwell Maltz's work. And it's about trying to take on those new personality traits, those new behaviors, and creating the new version of yourself, a new identity, the new 2.0 version, 3.0 version, whatever you want to call it. It's about rehearsing and practicing. And over time, when you do this, you're going to start to shift your identity. You're going to start to act differently. You're going to start to feel differently. And ultimately, you will become a different person. As I said, I recommend this book. It's a fantastic book. If you want some help with your journey of change and creating a new life, then you can click a link below. I'm going to leave a link where you can book a call with me and we can have a chat, see if it's a good fit together, and I can potentially help you make the changes that you're looking to achieve in your life. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.